from Colorado. Just want to make a few points, and I'll yield to the gentleman, my good friend from Wisconsin. First of all, I wanted to make clear that the bill number of the bill that I have just introduced, the Job Creation and Regulatory Freeze Act, is H.R. 3194. And earlier we were talking about common sense regulations. And I want to mention one a regulation that I had a constituent fly to D.C. to discuss with me. I have she lives outside my district, this businesswoman, but she has numerous stores in my district. And she has 300 stores in 4 states. They're convenience stores. And she came to me and met with me in my office right up here in Longworth, had some other folks with her, and they told me the problem that they have with horses coming into their convenience stores. And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Yes, we're being told by the Department of Justice through the Americans with Disabilities Act that we have to let horses, ponies, come into our stores if someone wants to bring a horse or a pony into the store." I said, "Well, why would anyone ever need to bring a horse or a pony into your convenience store?" They said, "Well, apparently it's not common." I didn't think it was common because I'm 43, and I've never heard of anyone taking a horse into a convenience store. But she told me that the way some folks rely on seeing eye dogs, that some other folks in the country rely on horses for balancing or whatever other service that horse provides, maybe guiding them. I'm not sure all the details. The validity of that aside, I took her at her word that people were in the practice of taking horses into stores. She said, "Look, I've got liability problems here potentially. People are going to bring horses in. They may kick somebody. They may be dirty. They may, dirty up the store. They may knock things over." And I said, "Okay, well, if someone relies on a horse, that's fine. But why do we have a federal regulation on this? I've never even heard of it. We have people being paid to draft rules that deal with horses going into stores." I almost couldn't believe it. So I did a little research with my staff, and sure enough, she wasn't kidding. She wasn't making this up. ADA Title III, Regulation 28, CFR, Part 36, Section .36.302. Modifications in policies, practices, or procedures. There is a provision entitled Miniature Horses. A public accommodation shall make reasonable modifications in policies, practices, or procedures to permit the use of a miniature horse by an individual with a disability if the miniature horse has been individually trained to do work or perform tasks for the benefit of the individual with a disability. Now, if individuals have to rely on horses for balance or guidance or whatever, then that's absolutely fine. I just find it incredible that the federal government is telling a business owner who's never in her life even heard of a horse coming in a store, federal government is telling her she has to comply with this and make sure that there's room for a horse to get in, or a pony, or a miniature horse. I just think that this is where common sense comes in. And we obviously can't regulate for every contingency, and apparently we're trying. So I'm taking a closer look at this to try to get some more information, but I think it's one that at first impression tells me we need to apply a little more common sense with regard to regulations. I want to yield to the gentleman from Wisconsin for the remaining time.
Thank